Mrs. Fleming, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to discuss the Department of Transportation's high-speed intercity passenger rail program. As you know, this program was established to provide grants to states and others to develop high-speed intercity passenger rail corridors and projects. As of November, almost $10 billion has been obligated for about 150 projects. Projects range from multi-billion-dollar high-speed rail systems like that in California to smaller projects designed to improve speed, frequency, reliability of conventional rail service. My testimony today will discuss our ongoing review of the California project. I am providing our preliminary observations on our work to date, mostly related to project costs, but I will also highlight some of the key challenges facing this project. First, based on our ongoing review, we have found that the California High-Speed Rail Authority's cost estimate exhibits strengths and weaknesses. We evaluated the cost estimate according to GAO's cost guide, which provides best practices for developing reliable cost estimates. We grouped these best practices into 4 broad characteristics: whether an estimate is comprehensive, accurate, well-documented, and credible. Based on our experience, adhering to these practices helps to reduce the risk of cost overruns, missed deadlines, and unmet performance targets. Overall, we found that the Rail Authority produced generally comprehensive cost estimates, including most project life cycle costs. However, they are not based on a complete set of assumptions, such as how the Rail Authority expects to adapt existing high-speed rail technology to the project in California. The cost estimates are also accurate, and that they are based on the most recent project scope, they include an inflation adjustment, and they contain few mathematical errors. In regards to documentation, while most assumptions and methodologies are well documented, in some cases we were not able to trace the final cost estimate back to the source documentation. We also could not verify how certain cost components, such as trains and stations, were calculated. Having complete documentation is important so that changes to the estimates can be tracked and updated and key decisions documented and defensible. Finally, in regards to the cost estimate's credibility, the Rail Authority did conduct a sensitivity analysis and an independent cost estimate, but these were limited to the initial construction segments. In addition, it did not conduct risk and uncertainty analysis to determine the likelihood that the estimates would be met. Without these steps, decision makers cannot identify the risks that may affect the project's costs. Moving on to my second point, in addition to developing reliable cost estimates, the California High-Speed Rail project faces many challenges. Chief among these is obtaining project funding beyond the initial 130-mile construction segment. While the Rail Authority has secured $11.5 billion from federal and state sources, it needs at least $57 billion in additional funding to complete the project. As with any large public infrastructure project, it is relying on public funding, in this case about 81% for the total construction costs. The remaining financing is expected to come from unidentified private investment once the system is operational. As a result of this financing challenge, the Rail Authority is taking a phased approach, building segments as financing is available. However, given that the High-Speed Intercity Passenger Rail Grant Program has not received funding for the last 2 years, and future funding proposals about federal funding will likely be met with some concern, the largest block of expected funds for completing this project is tentative. The Rail Authority will also face the challenge of developing reliable ridership and revenue forecasts. These forecasts are important to assessing the financial viability of the project. Factors such as limited data and information, especially early in a project, make developing such forecasts difficult. In addition, risk of inaccurate and biased forecasts are a recurring challenge for sponsors of the project. Research on ridership and revenue forecasts for rail projects worldwide have shown that ridership forecasts are often overestimated, and actual ridership is likely to be significantly lower than forecast. Among the other challenges facing the project, which may increase the risk of project delays, are potential legal challenges associated with state and federal environmental laws and acquiring necessary right-of-way acquisition. Mr. Chairman, this concludes my statement. I would be pleased to answer any questions you and other members of the committee might have.